All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Oh, I see lots of good, fun faces here. So thank you guys for hanging tight while YouTube went through it. Was being a pill again. So fortunately, the refresh worked and we are all good. So it is so nice to see you here. Welcome, everybody. I love seeing all the comments. So I had a chance while YouTube was doing its thing. To take a look at everybody. So it is so nice to see everyone. I'm happy to see all the folks in the community. And I'm happy. Oh, Teresa, welcome. Yep, we are doing readings tonight for Molly and Lobo. So I have some really cool things that I want to share from both of those that are really tied into today's message. But today's message also is inspired by somebody else who I think is on here, Karen. Yep. So Karen and Lucy, you guys were the inspiration for this particular video and the theme that I want to. It's going to kind of carry on throughout the week. The theme of you are not alone, because we are not alone. So let me just give a quick shout out and a quick welcome here. Nunya, it's great to see you. Let's see who else we got going on here. Sherry, nice to see you as well. Kimmy. Oh, Kimmy's going to be jumping back and forth. Okay. All right. So far. Oh, and Kathy. Hello, everybody. It's nice to see you. Jody, good to see you too. We're going to just give a quick shout out. Kimberly, awesome. Jess, good to see you. Sharon, hello, hello, hello. Jess, every time that I see that Green Packers logo, it makes me smile. I'm not a super huge sports fan, but there's something about the Packers. Okay, so it is good to see everybody. And for those of you who may be new to the channel, let me just kind of explain a little bit how this works. I do a live stream every Monday called SoulPet, and I pick a different topic, usually inspired by your animal companions, or in this case, by the human and animal companion. And I share the information that I receive from the other side, from all of the animals that I've worked with over time. I'm an animal Reiki master and an animal chaplain. And those two things have kind of blended together into this beautiful thing that I had no idea could be. And that is helping all of us, myself included, helping all of us come together to support each other in healing and support each other in this beautiful life with our animals here on this side and our animals on the other side. So let's, I wanted to give everybody a shout out and kind of explain how that works. So what I normally do is I try to go through the information that I want to share about this topic. And tonight there's some really cool stuff. We always do seem to take some sidetracks, but that's okay, because I trust that we are being guided to talk about the things that we need to talk about. But I try to do that first and then look at questions. Although sometimes I do get distracted. I see something pop up on the little comment screen and I have to view it. And then we do the readings. And I have already sat down with Molly and Lobo, and that was a little bit earlier, and received some beautiful and unexpected information, I think, Teresa, beautiful and unexpected. So let's see. The first thing I want to talk about is people begin to jump on. Jen, good to see you. Cristobal, nice to see you as well. First time live watcher. Oh, wow. Oh, for Dookie. That's who we are. Okay, Chris. Yeah. Dookie's an inspiration as well. And to let us know, I'll come back to that. I got to make myself a little note about, and I think I have a piece, a little bit of it here, but about paw prints. That's one thing that that Duke connected about, was with the paw prints, but we'll come back to that as part of what we talk about tonight. Okay, so we are good. Caroline, nice to see you as well. And Michelle, hopefully you'll be able to find some peace here, at least some comfort in this group. We meet every single Monday. So if you guys want to spread the word, I would appreciate it. Spread the word. The more this channel grows, the more we can impact others who are going through grief that may not even know that there's an outlet like this, to help recover, manage the loss of our animal companions, cope with all the feelings that we have, cope with the feeling that we are all alone, because we are so not alone. Which I joke that's hilarious, because I could never be alone when I was with my animal companions here on Earth, when they were all three with me. When I went to the loo, as they say in the UK, so did all of my dogs. And even Gypsy now, every time I go into the bathroom, Gypsy has to come and sit there with me in companionship, beautiful companionship. So just imagine that you are never alone, even now, even after your animals have crossed to the other side, in the shower, on the loo, yeah, your animal companions are there with you. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that. So let me just I'm going to take a quick look at comments because I know that two of the people, Teresa, who's getting the reading tonight, and also Karen, who's beautiful, Lucy, who is still with us here, the beautiful Lucy who helped us come up with this topic this evening. And so Teresa says, yeah, I'm so sorry to hear that, Teresa, about your husband. Please, and I will continue as always. I'm a Reiki master. I love to be able to share healing energy, and I call it sharing that energy. Healing energy is all around us. It is everything. It is the quantum field. It is that field of everything that flows through and around us. It's based in love. And I'm grateful to be able to open my heart and just extend that out to whoever needs it. And wait till you hear, Teresa, how Molly and Lobo have been helping along the way. Molly right now is even with your husband. Okay. All right. And thank you, everybody else. You'll find that this community is incredibly supportive. When people reach out and ask for some support, there's others who jump in all the time to say, our hearts go out to you. And when we say that, when we say the words, our hearts go out to you, it is literal. It's not some Hallmark greeting card. It's a literal thing. We open our hearts, we send out the love, that love goes out into the field. It goes, we're going to talk about this tonight, the law of vibration. It goes exactly where it needs to go. And we don't have to know. We don't have to know what needs to be healed. All we need to know is that we are sending out that healing energy into the field and it knows where to go. And we trust that some healing will occur on some level, no matter what. And we don't need to know what that is. So anybody in our little group here, I'm going to check comments because I'm going to ask, did anybody witness the eclipse today? So I'm in Denver and we were kind of on the tail end. We didn't get a large impact, just this really cool color went over. It was like as if everything was bathed in this golden white light. It's very hard to explain because it was not just normal sunlight. There was like a color to everything. It changed the color of the air almost. And it was beautiful to see that without looking directly at the sun. But we didn't actually get the eclipse here. It was here. We did see an eclipse earlier. Oh gosh, the last time I saw a full eclipse here was a couple years ago. But anyway, there's some energy associated with this that is also part of what's driving some of the things that help make people feel unsteady right at this period of time. It's just because there's a shift in all of the planets, and that impacts us. It impacts our body physically, and it impacts the way we think. It impacts the way we feel. So lean into that and don't worry about it. Now, there is all kinds of spiritual talk, and I'm just going to check this. Saw it in a beautiful picture. Saw God in it, absolutely. So whatever you call God, Allah, Buddha, Source, the divine, the universe, and it doesn't matter the gender either. All of the planets and all of the stars and the sun and eclipses, they're all beautiful expressions of the divine creation. Everything we see, everything we touch. And the reason we're so drawn to it, why is there so much hype about it? Why do so many people post videos about it? Why were there so many videos? Why were there so many news articles? Why was it everywhere? Because we're drawn to it. There is something about astronomy and astrology both. There's something about the alignment of the planets and the stars and our connection to it that draws us in. And I say, go with it, whatever you feel about it. Even if you just think that it's something beautiful to witness or it's kind of cool, or you think that there's magic in it, it doesn't matter. All of it is just so wonderful and beautiful to experience. It is God experiencing itself. Looking at the sun through our eyes, looking at something so remarkable, and to think of what it takes. Then I'll get off the topic of the eclipse. So the eclipse was mostly a North American event, if I'm not mistaken. It was mostly North America. So we're talking Canada, the US, and it kind of traveled like a diagonal across the US. And Denver sat on the other side of that diagonal, but it kind of traveled across the diagonal. If you lived in the Dallas area, I think in Maine and Vermont, it kind of went, if you can picture a line going from Maine all the way down to Texas. That's kind of the way that it went. And then into Mexico and a little bit, I think, into South America. But it is, I don't know where I was going with that. Why did I just give you an astronomy lesson? Haven't a clue. Oh, no, can't remember because I was going to say why so much news about it. Doesn't matter. It's just an interesting thing to examine. Oh, I was talking about, think about the exact precision it takes for the moon to be the exact size to cast that exact shadow across the sun, aligned with the earth. There has to be pre-planning there. There's no accident that with the moon being the shape that it is that causes the eclipse. Okay, let's get talking about why you're not alone. And Karen, this is for you. Karen and I had a beautiful conversation earlier, and we are working to prepare as Lucy approaches end of life, whenever that may be. And I pray that she is with you for ages from now. But it brought up something that I know comes up for other people as well, that we just feel so alone, that people don't often understand how our relationship is with our animal companions. Our relationship with our animal companions, and I know that I speak for almost all of you who watch these videos, we have very deep personal connections, spiritual connections with our animal companions. They know us better than anybody. They see everything. They know us better than anybody because they see us without judgment. They see us without caring. I always joke about this. Like, you guys can tell when I've had a bad nutrition. Like, if I had a bad weekend, I'll say, they don't care what you ate this weekend. They don't care if you had one too many glasses of wine. They don't care if you didn't brush your teeth in the morning. They don't care if you missed your morning workout. So you're getting insights into all the things there that my little beautiful gypsy could care less about. It doesn't matter to her. All that matters to her is that her and I are together, that we are together, that I get to share Reiki with her, that I get to help gently massage her eyes. You guys, I think most of you know that Gypsy is sightless, and meaning that she's not just blind, she has no eyes. She loves to have this little massage around her eyes there. She loves to have the skin just stretched back a little bit, and she almost purrs like a cat. She's a dog, but she almost purrs like a cat. And no judgment whatsoever. In fact, the only time that I sense judgment from her, and it's not judgment, it's more of a lesson, is she does not enjoy any type of conflict. So she doesn't like if I get angry at something, like technology. If I let out an expletive at technology, which is another insight into who I am, she'll leave the room. And I don't take it as judgment. I take it as a lesson that, okay, I got it. Because the last thing I want is for her to leave the room. I dial it back. I retake control of my emotions. My emotions are mine, and nothing's going to manipulate them, including technology. So we have very close personal relationships with our animals. And in some cases, they are our soulmates. There's no other person in our life but our animals. And our animal companions, as we know, share much shorter lifespans than we do. And now I'm talking most about cats and dogs now. Cats and dogs don't generally outlive us. It's the other way around. We outlive them. And it causes such a sense of loss. And more than a sense of loss, it creates this sense of aloneness that if my animal companion leaves, who else do I have? Or as my animal companion ages and I begin to feel this anticipatory grief, how do I find someone to share that with? How do I even share it with anybody? There are so many people who don't understand that relationship and the feelings that we get in advance of our animals crossing, and then once they cross, what that means to us. Now, you guys know that I was an HR executive for many years, and I came up through the corporate world, and I was a true type A control freak corporate. I mean, I was towing the line all the way. I was the enforcer as an HR executive. Oh gosh, I look back and I want to redo so much. But when someone would lose an animal companion, we didn't have any. There was nothing in the workplace to. There was nothing. There was nothing for that. We have bereavement leave for family members, but we don't have bereavement leave for animal family members. Now, what I tell my clients is, when you go to your workplace, and even if you can't get bereavement leave, so to speak, You can say, I have lost a dear family member and I must take care of that. There's things that I need to take care of as I've lost this family member. And no one's going to question you. No one's going to question you. And if they do, that's their issue. You would say that's none of your business. I have a family member who has crossed, and there are things that I need to take care of for me. But there's so little understanding out there from others about this. How many times have we heard that just a cat? I've shared this with you guys. I used to say that. Okay, it was just a cat. Oh my gosh, how I wouldn't ever dream of saying that now. I would never dream of it. And I ho'oponopono forgive myself for the times that I didn't know better, And then I think I've also shared when the president of the company that I retired from reached out to me after my retirement and I started doing this work. And she said, I never understood either until I got my soulmate dog. And I now have my soulmate. And I would support anything if you were to ever say, I would support anything. If you were to say that we needed a bereavement policy for pets, I would put it in place. And I'm like, yeah, we need to do that. Okay, quick check on some comments. Soulmates. Yeah, oh, by the way, everybody else who may be watching this for the first time, there's nothing, we don't judge anybody here, and nothing sounds too odd, and nothing sounds too weird, and nothing sounds too off the wall. And there are some nights when I go way down the spiritual rabbit hole, and I'm the one who worries that it gets a little too woo-woo or hairy-fairy, as I like to say. Hairy-fairy for our pets. That's why I call it that. All right, let's talk about the other reason the reasons why you are not alone. I understand the feeling. I know where it comes from. Believe me, there are times when I feel so alone in my practice. As I do this work, I feel oftentimes that if it weren't for this beautiful community and for my students in my classes, I would feel very much alone, because it is a swim upstream when it comes to working with veterinary clinics and holistic care and all that kind of thing. And then getting people to understand that lives don't end. We're going to talk about this in just a sec. Lives don't end when the physical death of our body occurs. Life does not end. Life goes on. And I'm going to share that with you now. So you're not alone, because number one, we have community, and I'm going to bring us back to that community in a little bit. And we have members in our community here, Nanya and Sharon and Kimmy, and I can't see who else, but that are formal members of a little community. And I'm so grateful for all of your support and the support that you offer everybody else who watches these videos. Okay, so let's talk about scientifically why you're not alone, why you are never alone. We've talked before about reincarnation, and do our animals reincarnate? We've talked about the fact that we have soulmates, that our animals are connected to us, and it has been more of me kind of advising you or counseling that our animal companions have been with us since the dawn of time, and they will be with us till the end of time, which doesn't exist. Wrap your mind around infinity. If anybody wants to watch a mind-blowing TV show, it's the show called, and I think it's called Infinity, and it may be on Netflix. But it tries to explain what infinity is, and there's just no way to wrap our mind around something that never ends. And that includes our relationship with our animal companions. The first thing I want to mention is something called, I'll do the spiritual part first, and then we'll go into the scientific part, and I will give you some examples. The law of correspondence. You all may have heard of the law of attraction. I've used those words myself. The law of attraction. There was a little book and a movie called The Secret by Rhonda Byrne, and I don't even know how old that is now, 20 years, more, I'm not even sure. And the guy who I want to reference in just a minute, Dr. Bruce Lipton, I think was part of that movie called The Secret. And it was about the law of attraction. And the law of attraction, I'd never heard of this before. And someone gave me the book, The Secret, and introduced me to the law of attraction. And when I read it, what I took away from it was not what I understand now. What I took away from it was that if we were to sit down and meditate and quiet our mind and open our heart and say, I am a healthy spiritual millionaire, I'm a healthy spiritual millionaire, I'm a healthy spiritual millionaire, that eventually that would come true, because we would have attracted it to us by our words and thoughts. but it goes so much deeper than that. It's all about vibration and frequency, and that everything vibrates. That's another thing we call besides law of attraction, there's the law of vibration. The law of vibration, as described by Einstein, is that everything is always in motion. Everything is in motion. It doesn't matter if it's a feather, if it is a pen or a wall or a cement road. Everything vibrates at some level. Only some of the vibrations are so slow that they appear to be solid. Others are so fast that they appear to be animated. And then, of course, we are animated with our souls and our bodies and our personality and all those kinds of things that are in our body and our animal's body. So that's the law of vibration, that everything is always in motion. Everything is energy. Everything is always in motion. Then the law of correspondence. The law of correspondence says, as above, so below, as within, so without. And what that means is that everything is a reflection of the universe. So if the universe is this infinite field of energy that is everywhere, and it happens that we are vibrating at a certain speed that keeps our body here, we have gravity, and we are here present on Earth in these little bodies, and we are, the law of correspondence says that we are a direct reflection of the universe. And then within us are all of our cells. Think of our trillions, billions, trillions of cells within our body that regenerate all the time, that do their job all the time, that we never give a second thought to. All of the cells that make up your heart, all of the cells that make up your liver, all of the cells that keep your body circulating, that breathe in and out the air, that keep the blood circulating, that keep your skin regenerating, all of those things that we don't give a second thought to, they are also a direct reflection of the greater universe in the field of energy. And each one of them has their own job. Now, we're getting to the reason why this means that you're not alone. Okay, so this, I have to remember not to get distracted by comments. Dr. Bruce Lipton, if anybody wants to do this, a little bit of research about this, I heard this he had a really good analogy, not just an analogy, he had a really good explanation. A lot of times when we see these doctors online, Dr. X, Y, or Z, Dr. whoever, Dr. Smith, Dr. Jones says this, says that, they are often not medical doctors. They are often not PhDs. Not that I give a lot of credence to title. I don't. But there's a reason why I am pointing out Dr. Bruce Lipton, who's not only a PhD, but he's a cellular biologist. And he was on the faculty of the University of Wisconsin. So Jess, University of Wisconsin. He was on the faculty there. As in the School of Medicine. He was also at Stanford University. He did stem cell research at Stanford University. Really scientific gentleman who had his spiritual awakening. A scientific person who understood how cellular biology worked, there's a thing now, if you look it up, called epigenetics. I cannot explain it other than on a really superficial level. Epigenetics is how our genes are impacted by our environment and our thoughts. So how we can retrain our brains and retrain the way that our body works and the way that we think and the way that we heal based on our own environment and our own programming. We've talked about this, our own cultural programming, how we can get past the cultural society programming that has brought us to where we are now, take control of our bodies, take control of our cells, take control of our own genetics. And it all goes back to our cells. Every single cell of our body, this is according to Dr. Lipton, every single cell of our body is unique to us. It's why there's so much trouble with transplants, because the cells are all unique to us and they vibrate at a frequency that is ours. So when we get ill, it's a matter of readjusting our frequency and our vibration. And we can do that with medical help, but that's a whole different topic about holistic care. But our cells vibrate at a very, very specific frequency. And that frequency is always there. And our animal companions, their cells also vibrate at a very unique frequency. And the way the cells organize is what creates humans. And the way other cells organize is what creates a cat or a dog. But some of us, as we learn with soulmates, whether it's two-legged human or a four-legged cat or dog or bird or bearded dragon or whatever it may be, those our cells are vibrating at the same, they have the same type of vibration. So our cats and our dogs recognize us and we recognize them, and we are brought together here in this physical world, but our cells have, our vibration extends beyond these cells. Our vibration, our soul is who we are. I loved the analogy that I heard, and he called it the Bruce Show. His name is Bruce Lipton. And so I just think of this now as the Elaine Show. And it is so cool to think that I go on forever, that you go on forever, that your animal companion lives forever. There is no end. And the analogy that he used, which I love, is that we're a TV, we're a television set, and you're a television set, or we're a television set, and we're putting on a show for everybody in this particular TV. And if our TV were to get kicked over and die, it doesn't end the broadcast. The show, when we watch television, it doesn't matter if our TV goes on the fritz. Those shows are still broadcasting. They're still out there live. So on Sunday, when we lost the internet here because of all the windstorm that we had coming through, and it was the Final Four, and somebody wanted to watch basketball who couldn't watch basketball, you'd think it was the end of the world because we didn't have access to that show, but it was still broadcast all around the rest of the world. It just wasn't being broadcast in our living room. So think about that analogy. When our body is done, when it's over, when it has outlived its ability to repair itself and to continue on, just because it is not available to us anymore doesn't mean we are out there. We are forever. And then we'll be with our animal companions again in a way that we would be like, oh my gosh, why did I ever doubt that I was connected to my animal companion? Why did I ever think I was alone? Because you're not alone. All of those, everything that you are aligned with here, you will be aligned with, and even more in heaven. That was the other analogy. What if this is heaven? What if this is heaven? And we have come here with our animal companions to explore and create and have fun and do, and we're missing it. We are missing the point. We think that, oh my gosh, maybe when we die, we'll go to the Rainbow Bridge. Maybe now that our pet has died, our pet is at the Rainbow Bridge waiting for us, and hopefully we've been good enough that we make it to heaven and not to hell. Oh my gosh, what if this is part of heaven? What if this is just an extension of heaven where we get to come and have fun and play and create and do and be and experience with our animal companions? And so they haven't quite experienced it for the length of time that we have, but it doesn't mean they've left us. Does not mean they've left us. We are with them all the time. They're with us always, like Molly right now, Teresa, is hanging out with you and with your husband. In particular, your husband. I have that coming up. So cells have a frequency, cells have a vibration. You are aligned with your animal companion. And I would encourage you not to just take my word for it. This amazing cellular biologist who had an aha moment as he's studying cells, understanding through stem cell research, understanding how everything is aligned together, why people's cells can't be transferred from one body to the next. And all of a sudden it dawns on him, we're all vibrating at a very unique frequency, and we just happen to be living in this body with it. So the real thing here, the message I want to share is we and our animals don't need a body. We have chosen a body for this particular lifetime, but we don't need a body in order to exist. And if we can get our minds unwrapped from all of the cultural programming that says that there's a chance that when you're dead and there's nothing else after, or that you can't connect and communicate with your animal on the other side of life, because there's no really such thing as the other side of life. I say it because I have no other words for it. I have no other vocabulary to explain where they are, except that this energetic field that surrounds us is where they are, and they are available to us, and they make themselves known to us in very special ways. Wait till you hear the way that Molly made herself known to her human companions. And we all may want to practice this, actually, because it's freaking amazing. Okay, so go check out Dr. Bruce Lipton. He's written a couple different books. Of course, he's got a host of textbooks from when he was truly all in the scientific world. And he's the first one to say, like I say that I was the type A corporate control freak that said just a cat is just a cat. He was the same thing, only in the scientific world. There's when your body's over, it's over. He got into work for cellular research just to help prolong life in these bodies. And now he's like, oh gosh, you don't even need it. You don't even need this body in order to exist. Okay. So what else do we have for you? You are also surrounded beyond just your pet. There are other spiritual beings who vibrate on the same frequency as you. That's where guardian angels come from. Guardian angels may seem like something religious, something that we're taught as a small child to keep us from being afraid of the monster in the closet, that you've got a guardian angel who's always by your side protecting you. Well, it's because you really do. And it may or may not be some beautiful blonde, blue-eyed winged creature. It may be something that we can't even, we immediately humanize everything in terms of arms and legs and everything, because we are taught religiously, at least I was, that we are created in God's image. Well, it didn't mean this. It didn't mean this suit that I happen to be wearing. It means we are created in God's image, this beautiful, amazing soul that resides everywhere. That's who we are. And we have the ability to connect with others who are vibrating at the same level, which leads me to community. And I'm just going to keep an eye on time here, which also leads to community, because we are all being drawn together. I did not reach out to any of you individually. Some of you, we don't even know how we got connected. I ask a lot of times, how did you hear about me? And somebody will say, oh, popped up on Facebook. And I rarely even use Facebook anymore, just only on a really limited basis. But the universe has a way of finding all the connections. And when we are vibrating at a certain level, we are able to make the connections with the people that we need to get in touch with the other people, with the other souls in their bodies, in their little TV sets. It's connecting us all together, because we are creating this beautiful, even the word community doesn't do it justice, what we have going on here. We are beyond just support in grief. We are shifting things. We are helping to shift the perspective about death and dying. We're helping. And when we shift it for just even a handful of people, imagine there's got to be at least, there's got to be other people having the same conversation besides us. And it's all coming together. And the field of energy, that field of energy is slowly shifting, and that it impacts everybody. It impacts every single person, because we're all ultimately connected in some way. Okay, deep breath as I kind of went off there. And sometimes when I start talking like that, I don't remember what I said. So let's, parents definitely don't get it. Oh, mine neither. But at least in the end, my dad gets it now, because he's on the other side, and I know he's with my dogs. And I talk to him now just like I do my dogs. And I laugh and joke with him. And sometimes when things don't go the way I plan, I'm like, yo, Dad, Papa, come on, buddy. We need to snap that. We need to fix this. Send the solution. Open my brain. Tell me what it is I'm supposed to do. And my dad totally gets it now. But when he was here, his beautiful little 80-something self said to me one day shortly before he crossed, he said, honey, I have no idea what you're doing, but I love you and I support you no matter what. And that's all I needed from him. Look, that's making me cry. That's all I needed to hear from him. But no, I have other family members who think I've totally gone around the bend. One day they're going to be like my boss at my old company, and they're going to realize that there is more to this beautiful life than they realize, more than Fox News, more than CNN, more than there's so much more going on. And we should be able to tap into that. Okay. Sherry says, Phoebe sent me and she knew I needed help with grief. Oh, Sherry, how interesting, because I always say that. I always say it's the animals. When I first decided that I was going to leave corporate and start doing animal Reiki full time and teaching animal Reiki and going to different shelters, that's where I started all this, going to shelters and helping animals and teaching people how to connect with rescues and that kind of thing. My type A corporate personality hired a business coach. So I was going to practice animal Reiki, and I hired a business coach. Yeah, that's where my corporate self came in. And she said to me, Elaine, you know what to do. You ask the animals. ask the animals to bring their people to you. And that's because I didn't know where I was supposed to get people. I didn't know where students were going to come from, didn't know where clients were going to come from. I was all in my type A brain. And she's like, relax, relax. The animals have your back. Just ask them to bring their people to you. And sure enough, here we go. The people and the sanctuaries and the rescues and the veterinarians now, and even the crematory where I worked for 5 years. I realize now what a blessing it was to, and one day I'll tell you the story of that, because that's another universe moving the chess pieces around, because I would have never applied for a job at a crematory for pets. Okay. One more check of comments, and we're going to move on to the community piece of this. Human soulmate past. Okay. Oh, looking at Reiki people. Very cool. On Facebook. There you go, Teresa. Barbara, how you doing? Good to see you. We need to connect. Relate so much, right? Just bringing, relate so much to all of it. I know, to all of it. And there are so many of us who have transitioned from our upbringing, when that's the other thing that Dr. Bruce Lipton talks about, as do many others, that scientifically a child up until the age of 7, and I did not realize this. I'm going to teach you guys something right now. And then we'll get back to the community piece, because I think this is important. Up to the age of 7, children are able to do and learn just about anything. And they are literally being programmed. They're being programmed by schools. They're being programmed by religion. And I'm not saying this in judgment, a little bit maybe. They're being programmed by schools, by their friends, by parents, by families, by everything, by the internet, by screen time. They're being programmed, and everything they see, they're like a sponge. They take it all in and they learn everything. And they've demonstrated that children up to the age of 7, because that's when the brain changes, up to the age of 7, if they were to live in like a multilingual family, like 3 languages at once, they would learn without any instruction. They would be able to speak all 3 languages. I have a friend who can speak 7 languages, and how? And she said, I was exposed to it as a child. My parents took us everywhere, all over the world, and I learned all these languages. So children up to the age of 7 can learn all these things because it's the way that their brain is growing. And there is the intellectual side of a brain, and there's the emotional side of a brain. It's why with the law of attraction, people are instructed that when you think about what it is you want to create and bring into your life, you do so with emotion. Infuse it with emotion. It is the combination of intellectual learning with emotion that brings something to fruition. And that's what creates such fast learning among our children. Super fast learners. And I believe it was the Jesuits who said, give me a child until the age of 7 and I'll show you what they are as a man or a woman or whatever. But I think the saying goes that it was a man, because they are being programmed. They're just absorbing every piece of information they receive. By the age of 7, our brain then formally separates into the 2 hemispheres. So we have the left hemisphere and the right hemisphere. There's a reason why I'm telling you this. You have the left hemisphere and the right hemisphere, and it makes learning that much more difficult. We still can learn. It's why there's things like Babbel and everything. If you wanted to learn a language, if you wanted to go back to school and do something, you still can. It just takes much more concerted effort, because we have the left side of the brain and the right side of the brain, and they're actually divided. One is the logical thinker, one is the emotional thinker. And we actually flip back and forth from time to time. It's why times of the day you may feel more emotional, other times of the day you may feel spot on intellectually. It's just the opposite. It's just the size of your brain and the way that they're working. But you can trick your brain into connecting both intellectually and emotionally at the same time. And it's by using your body. It's why yoga works so beautifully. I never realized this until I heard this. It was from Dr. Bruce Lipton, that if you cross your body with your arms, cross your body, you can, if you go like this, it's even better. Or if you guys have ever done this exercise, even better, to be able, and then tell yourself to raise your finger, if you do that, if you cross your arms across your body, if you cross your arms and your legs, I'm going to close my door. I just heard somebody come home. Okay, it's not going to close. I'm not worried about it. You cross your arms, you cross your legs together. Most people don't realize that when they sit down, they naturally cross their legs. It's a natural thing for us to do. Cross your arms, cross your legs, put your headphones on and listen to a meditation, or listen to any kind of visualization, or what's the word I'm thinking for? Affirmations. Put your headphones on, then do this, and also cross your legs, laying flat on your back or sitting in a yoga position, with like lotus, which I can't do, but maybe some of you can. I'm sorry, I can't close it, hon. If you want to take that off. If you cross your arms, cross your legs as you're listening to your visualization or your affirmations or whatever it may be that you want to learn. Suppose you wanted to learn to play the piano, or you wanted to learn something new. That's what you do, and your brain is then the left side is focused on the right side is focused on the left side, and it stimulates the learning centers of your brain. Why do you want to do this? Because you could do this as you try to connect with your animal companions. When you want to really make a connection with them, and I try to share something every week that will help you. And wait, when we get to Molly, you'll have another one. I try to give you something concrete that you can do that will help you make a connection with your animal companion, because they want to connect with you. We've done some pineal gland exercises. We have done some meditations. We've done some visualizations. But try this, listening to anything, listening to the sound of your animal's name. Put that into your cell phone. Put it on repeat. I don't know how you would do that, but do it. Do it on Zoom. You can create a little recording on Zoom or anything, but lay there with your hands across your chest. Lay there with your legs crossed and reprogram your brain. Reprogram your brain that you are able to connect. That if you can't physically see them, you can sense them. You'll feel them. You'll know their energy because you vibrate at the same energetic level, and you will know that they are there. And you will tell your brain that you will know every single time that your animal companion is right next to you. So give that a try and see how that works for you with connecting with your animals. Okay, let's continue. I did that. I speak 3. Oh, Teresa, good. 3 languages. Awesome. Fantastic. Bruce Lipton, PhD. Yes, Bruce Lipton, PhD. I don't know his middle initial for certain. He's a cellular biologist. I've spoken of him before because he willingly left academia to be able to share this information, because when he started to share it in academia, he was kind of like laughed right out of the room. And now there's so many scientists who are saying that in private, they understand all of this. In private, their research has led them to understand the direct link between science and spirituality, and how when we bring them together, all the light bulbs go off, because we understand that we are not pawns, that we are not just thrown here on earth until our body just withers away and then we're nothing. They're beginning to understand this, but they can't speak about it in the academic world because it takes it's like Galileo and Newton and all the people that were persecuted when they first began to express any ideas like this out of the ordinary. Oh, if you have any recordings of your cats, or just listen to the recording of cats, you can say their name. Listen to a recording of your pet's name. Listen to a recording of yourself. It's self-hypnosis is essentially what you're doing. Create your own little recording and you can do it on Zoom. You could do it. You don't have to have a video of it. You can just record the sound. Record the sound of your own voice, saying your pet's name, telling you that you are still connected. Maybe I'll create a little sample. I'll do that for you guys. I will create a sample meditation. And I would recommend creating it in your own voice, to hear your own voice while you're laying flat with arms crossed and legs crossed, reprogramming your brain with your own voice, telling your brain what it is you want it to hear. Yeah, powerful, very, very powerful. The last thing that I want to bring up before we do the readings is that we are now connected also as a community. You are no longer alone. And I would encourage you to share this with anybody who wants to listen, whether they're hairy-fairy like me and woo-woo and really into the deep spiritual stuff or not, even if they're just somebody who's looking for support, because as you guys know, just by looking at all the comments, we are incredibly supportive of each other. And we now have a community where you don't ever have to feel alone. And there are times where if you are feeling alone, that you can jump in here every Monday night. I started this the very first week of January, and I have no plans on stopping. Every Monday night, I don't even know some Mondays what I'm going to talk about. Who knows? Who knows what a month from now the topic is that we're going to talk about? Doesn't matter, because we are here in support of each other. We have something in common. The thing that we have in common is our animal companions and our deep, unending love. The reason we feel so much grief, and even the reason we feel so much guilt, we're going to have more, because I still get messages all the time about guilt. Oh my gosh, Jess, I didn't know there was such a thing. Holy moly. Oh my gosh, Jess, that is probably the most powerful. Whoa. Okay, so we're just going to deep breath. Thank you so much. Jess just gifted 5 memberships. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. I can't believe it. Thank you so much. That is the kind of support I'm talking about. That's the community I'm talking about. You don't ever have to feel alone. Whether your animal is still with you and you're not sure what to do, you reach out to me and I will help support you. And then you come to this community, and we meet every Monday night, and it's going to get bigger and bigger. The more I start to learn how everything works, this is all new for me. The more I learn how everything works and how to keep us all connected and how to really build community, it's going to be off the hook, and I just can't wait. I can't wait. And so I call right now. I request and I ask the animals, all of our animal companions, to stand by our side, to join us as we create this beautiful community so that nobody ever again needs to feel alone. And spread the word, guys. Spread the word. That's all I can say. And was there anything else I want to say about community? We are drawn to each other by our vibration. The universe does manipulate things. I like to use the analogy of the universe as a giant spider web. And when you ping the spider web, you know how, like, if you were to touch one, if a spider were to touch one piece of the web, the vibration could be felt all across the web. That's what I feel for the universe. It's like we have plucked one of the strings of the universal web, and everything now is in motion, and puts everything together that's vibrating at the same frequency all together. Okay, I guess that's all about that. So where's my note page? Here we go. My note page for Molly and Lobo. Let's take a look at questions real quick in case there are any questions, and I will come back after Molly and Lobo and answer any questions, including any follow-up questions to the readings for Molly and Lobo. And do I even have a tissue here because my nose is running now? Oh my gosh, Jess, I'm stunned. Sherry says, opened up to my sister, thought she would think I was crazy, but the response was so great. I love to hear that too. Sometimes it's unexpected. Sometimes we get a pleasant surprise when we tell people about what we're doing. Now, I have lost all fear of that. Like I tell everybody anymore. I don't care. I tell everybody and anybody who's willing to listen. Sometimes, as you guys know, I love to talk, and I will tell them to the point where they're like, okay, I believe. Oh, Jen, I'll find out. Jen, I'll find out why you can't. It's so weird. You should be able to. So I looked up, I know that it was Julie who also said she had trouble signing up for the membership. When you subscribe, under any video, there's a subscribe button. When you click subscribe, you should then automatically receive a join button. It should give you an option to join. So I will have to do that a little bit further. And it said it works on mobile and laptop and desktop. So I'll do a little bit more research for you, Jen, and find out how to get you in. So that probably means that Julie can't get in either for whatever reason. I'm not sure why that would be. Yes, Kimmy, definitely. If you guys have topics, and first for the members of the membership community, if you guys have suggestions, absolutely send them my way. Let me know. You can message me, email me, whatever. You can definitely give me topics. I will be happy to do. I'd love to get some input for topics that we would discuss. So definitely send that too. And Kimberly says, all right, so you guys, I will find out why that is. Because as we see, there's a group of people, including Kimmy and Nunya, that joined on the very first night. So there is a join button. It will say join. And I don't think it's under membership. I think it's just like on the, and so when I tried it myself, I signed in with a different email, and I even got a little message, the ding, would you like to be a member? So I will see if I can do a little bit more legwork for you guys. Let's talk about Molly and Lobo. Molly and Lobo, they're getting impatient, very impatient. They wanted me to start doing this a few minutes ago. Teresa, were they impatient? That's coming through right now, that they are very impatient. And I will try to keep them separate, but they were very, very much linked. Since they lived in the same house, they were very linked. And I got some unexpected messages, so we'll see what they say. Yes, she says yes. I want to share first with you about how Molly came through to Teresa. And this is something you guys can try. Now, Teresa does this as a regular practice. And I'm going to tell you that I have never tried it before. And I will caution that if you're not used to working with smoke, like we don't want to burn anybody's house down. But Teresa likes to work with smoke. So created just like a little mist of smoke, and to see what she sees in the smoke. If anybody's ever I've done this, sat at a campfire, and first of all gotten totally mesmerized by the flames of the campfire, but then watch the tendrils of smoke fly through go into the air, rise into the air. And Teresa tries to interpret those things. Well, the picture that Teresa sent to me was so clear. And Teresa, you can tell me if I can share that or not. And yes, Teresa, I think all of us have a little witch inside of us. But that picture that you sent me was this beautiful mist of smoke there's no mistaking it's a cat. There is no mistaking that it is a cat. And when I looked at it, it's clear. It's very, very obvious that there's a cat. And sometimes we see these things in clouds. I have seen beautiful images of dogs or cats in the clouds. I've seen other images, like misty images of cats or dogs, but it was the first time that I'd seen it in smoke. And I really found that to be amazing because it was so beautiful. It gave me chills when I looked at it. Yes, thank you. Okay, so I'll post that in our community, this picture of the smoke. What else did I get from... We'll start with Molly. As I mentioned, I tried to keep them separate, but they were very much linked, like talking over each other linked. And that came up too. A sense of everyone in the house always talking over each other, like interrupting each other. That's and in a funny way, like that's the message I got from Molly and Lobo, that there was, and it wasn't, it's not a negative thing. They actually liked it. There was a sense of vitality is the word that they're giving me. That there was always talk and conversation, and sometimes interrupting each other. But that's right. That's funny. So they're right on. Kind of like plasma. Yeah, but it was a little bit different than plasma. You'll see, Kimmy, when I post it. Okay. So what came through from Molly first was the song. It was a song, My Girl. And I know that Molly was very much connected with your husband, is very much connected with your husband. I will use the present tense. But I got that song, like My Girl, talking about my girl. I can't sing. And you don't want to hear me sing anymore, but the song My Girl, that's the first thing that came through with Molly. And I could picture her, if he would sing that song to her, I could just picture her head bumping and rubbing and just being in love. I'm sorry, I don't mean that disrespectfully, but truly, Molly being in love with your husband is the image that I got. So something came up about magic markers. I couldn't get anything more out of them about magic markers. I couldn't tell if it was Molly who liked to bat them around, or that. But anyway, I have to say, because I give everything I receive, I share unfiltered, and you can tell me if it resonates or doesn't resonate. And a lot of times, it's a couple weeks from now before all of a sudden someone goes, oh my gosh, that so resonated. Why didn't I think of that before? Yes, she was. And he's saying, good golly, Miss Molly. I love it. Good golly, Miss Molly. Okay, you don't want to hear me sing. One of the questions that Teresa posed to me, which we may think about differently, so I'm going to try to answer this in the way that you asked it. Did Molly and Lobo get sick because your husband was sick? So the question specifically was, did they take on his illness? Because animals truly are magic on all levels. Cats in particular are natural Reiki masters. There's an old wives' tale that it was a cat who brought the system of Reiki to Usui Mikao, who we credit with creating the system of Reiki as we know it. Neither here nor there. They're natural healers. Animals are natural healers, and they don't need to be attuned. They understand not just Reiki, but they understand healing energy. They understand how to use it. They understand how to share it. They have choice. When I teach animal Reiki, I teach that our animals are sentient beings who have preferences and choices, and it is their choice how they use the healing energy of Reiki. And they feel the same way. It is their decision about Reiki. And if they share Reiki with another being, whether it is another animal or, I mean, humans are animals too, another four-legged animal or another, or a two-legged, it's also their choice how they do that. So the sense that I'm getting directly, now I have to start, because I drew myself some arrows here because the thoughts came through a little confusing. Most of this came from Lobo, because Molly specifically said, Lobo said, I'm speaking on behalf of Molly. I will tell you what you need to know, because Molly says, I don't want to talk about it. Like that, like even in that tone of voice, that phrase, Molly said, I don't want to talk about it. And when I asked the question about the cancer. And so Lobo said, I will speak for her and I will share what I understand Molly to have gone through. Did they take on the cancer? The answer is no. The answer is distinctly no. They did not like remove the cancer as if you would no longer have a tumor because I'm taking it from you and I will carry your tumor. Healing actually does not work that way. Tumors can dissolve, but we don't, as healers, we don't take on other people's illnesses. And I'm including the animals in that as healers. We don't take on the illness. We don't take on the negative, dense energy of that illness. But, so there's a caveat to this. But our animals are so sensitive and so aligned. So when I talk, there's a reason why I mentioned all the physical connection and all the cellular connection and the vibratory connection. It's because their frequencies are so closely aligned. And I have more about that for Molly in just a minute, about reincarnation, but they're so closely aligned that they experience the same illnesses. So it's not that they took that illness upon themselves and that they died as a result of that. It's because their cells were vibrating in the same way. So the cells that were resulting in cancer in your husband were resulting in cancer in Molly and Lobo. And that is why they became sick and demonstrated those symptoms. And nobody does anything wrong there. There's nothing wrong. That again, our animals have chosen to be with us. They've chosen to be by our side. They want to experience, this is coming through now, and I've said this in a different way before. It's almost as if they are choosing to experience everything we are experiencing, including our illnesses like cancer, so that when they transition to the other side, they are able to help us even better because they understand from a physical perspective what we have been going through. And that is what I'm getting from Molly and Lobo, that they chose to experience the same physical illness as your husband so that on the other side, they can be even better healers than they were here on planet Earth. Okay, none of that was written down. So if you need more about that, Teresa, I will definitely share. He has cancer. I believe they had cancer. Yeah. So that is what I get from that. And that's not just for Molly and Lobo. There are so many animals who exhibit the same physical illnesses as their human companions. And it's because our cells and our bodies are so aligned. They're so connected. Molly and your husband are so connected. There's no, I can't see anything else happening except for Molly getting cancer. Okay, so Molly says she doesn't want to talk about it. And let's see what else. Yeah, I'm giving, honestly, I know that I don't hold back, and I have met Teresa, so I understand that I can, sometimes there are messages that I say, I think I need to reach out to the person privately because it's a very strong message, but know that from the heart. Oh, because Molly and Lobo right now, Molly and Lobo are like on a healing mission. They are on a mission, even with the stroke, they're on a healing mission. They're not going to leave your husband's side. They will not leave your husband's side. Okay, so I've got the sense of everyone in the house. Let's see what else. I have another arrow here, all from Lobo on behalf of Molly. They are so in tune with us. Oh, Molly shared healing energy here. While she was here, Molly was sharing Reiki with your husband. For those of you who may not be familiar with Reiki, it's just universal healing. It's universal energy. It's based in love, and we open the environment of our body to receive this, and this beautiful universal energy goes where it needs to go and does what it needs to do. And healing occurs on a couple different levels. Healing can be full recovery. There have been miraculous recoveries. And it can also be learning to live with a certain situation for an extended period of time, getting a little bit of extra time to play here on planet Earth. That's another way to heal, is learning how to live with a condition, which it sounds may have happened because if I remember what you shared with me, it was a very short diagnosis given to your hubby, and it's been like over a year now. And then there's also using healing energy to transition to the other side in a way that is peaceful and painless. Whenever I work with animals, and especially at end of life, my prayer for them is always to accept the beautiful healing energy for their highest good in whatever way that may be. So what else did I have about Molly? Hang on, we got another page here. The next question was, could Molly be reincarnated? So Teresa had asked, and I know you know most of this, Teresa. I know it. Yep. I know that you have a strong sense of this, but that you're just looking either for not validation for yourself, but I think for your hubby. So could Molly be reincarnated? Absolutely, yes. And that also goes back to that vibration, that connection, that vibratory frequency connection that we all have. I've done a video on reincarnation before, and I never quite explain it well. And I keep learning more and more about reincarnation and the choices that we have on the other side, that we can come back as anything we want to. But imagine that who we are deep down inside, who we really are deep down inside, is always going to be the same, whether we're a hawk, like I want to be when I want to come back, even if it's for a day, as a hawk, or as an osprey, or as an eagle. We have that choice. And so do our animal companions. And I can just imagine that if I was so closely aligned with a human here on Earth, that when I came back as a hawk, I would seek that person out, because I wouldn't have any. It would be like a giant light. There'd be like a light, a moth to a flame. There would be no mistaking where this person was. Like I wouldn't have to go searching the whole Earth to say, oh my gosh, I wonder if my person is down there as a whale. I wonder if nope. The beam of vibration is so strong and so connected that as a hawk, I would be able to come back and find that person immediately. So I would land on the arm of the beautiful girl who's now a falconer. That's what I picture, as that's what I know to be true for reincarnation. So is Molly a reincarnation? Is that why they're so closely connected? My direct instinct, I mean, my gut instinct is right away, yes. Yes, Molly reincarnated from a human. That's what I get from this, that Molly absolutely reincarnated from a human. And who knows, how we keep reincarnating, because we can do anything. We are God. We are the divine. We are an extension of the universe, and we can do anything we choose. And right now we choose to be here on this earth in these bodies, experiencing life the way that we are. But the future is, the possibilities are endless. The possibilities are absolutely endless. Deep breath before I continue. Let me just check here. Hey, Gia. Don't seek me out. Jody, I said osprey just for you because I think the osprey are really cool. I promise not to seek you out. I promise not. I will find, I have somebody who I know is a falconer, and I can see me coming back, a young girl who's a falconer. I can see me coming back and landing on her arm. So don't worry. I won't haunt you as a hawk or as an osprey. Gia, yes, I did. If you've ever sent me an email, I'm trying to go in order that I received them, and I'm still in January, but I'm trying. I am working through that. Every single week, I try to do at least two readings. So Gia, don't worry. I did receive your email because your name sticks out to me, Gia Love. Okay. Yes. Let's go back to our discussion about cellular frequency and choices on the other side. So the answer is yes. Molly was a reincarnated human. I have no doubt about it. She is always with him. He knows it, by the way. He knows it and doesn't tell you. He doesn't tell you because he doesn't want to say that you were right. And that I say this like with the biggest sense of humor that I can get from both Molly and Lobo. They are like, he doesn't want to admit that you are right. So Molly is always with him and he senses it. She is always I see her on him, like on his chest. I see her by him all the time, and he is fully aware that she is there. As a cat, I see her as a cat, not as a human. Lobo. So let's do a little bit more from Lobo. Lobo was not quite, because Lobo chose to speak for Molly most of the time. Lobo, I think in life was like that. Did Molly always take center stage? I just have a sense that that Lobo kind of stepped back all the time to let Molly be center stage. And so I didn't get as much from Lobo, except this, that he is happy. That's what I got from Lobo, that there was a time here during his time on Earth. Actually, there was a lot of times during his time on Earth when he was experiencing depression. And I don't know anything about you personally that way, Teresa, and you don't have to share. But oftentimes our animal companions also experience that alongside of us. So if we are experiencing depression, anxiety, and grief, they will often experience it right along beside us. Not because it's not like we're dumping it on them. They're choosing that experience because they want to know what it feels like. Same thing as I said before. They want to know what we are feeling so that when they cross to the other side, they can better help us, because now they know, now they get it, now they understand what it is our little human bodies are going through. Lobo was center stage. Okay. All right, Mr. Lobo. Because I got the sense that Molly was center stage. And that, has Lobo appeared for you in the smoke too? I did get a sense that he, if you haven't seen him, he has. I wrote that he has appeared in the smoke too, and that he says, "My family is a lot," and he said this in the most loving way. My family is a lot, and I adore them. That was the other thing he said. I enjoy watching them. I enjoy watching them bicker. That just what came through. I enjoy watching them bicker, and he's laughing. He's laughing because was there bickering over the TV or the TV remote? And did he somehow get the remote? I don't know, but that's what I get from Lobo. Interesting that he was center stage. Chihuahua, yes, he did. Oh, Chihuahua, yep. And yes, Teresa, that's funny. So that's what Lobo had to share, in addition to what he shared from Molly. Otherwise, he didn't have too much specifically to say from him. This was more about the connection between Molly and your husband. So if more comes through, I was his seventh owner, and you were sad a lot. Okay, got it. You saved each other. Oh, that is so beautiful, Teresa. That is so beautiful that you saved each other. Yeah, Chihuahuas are always center stage. My ex grand dog, my ex son-in-law got him in the divorce. But my little Chancho was always center stage. He was something else too. I do miss Chancho, and he's physically still here on the planet, but I never get to see him. So there's other types of loss that we go through too. Besides that. Okay, so that's what I had for you guys. And oh my gosh, we've gone way over an hour now, and I'm sorry that I kept you so long. But I love to share this stuff. I just love to share it, and I love to be able to see us come together and supporting each other. And I'm just going to read the comments one more time. Always center stage, long-haired Kimmy cat, and I agree. And thank you so much. I just wanted hubby to see. I was right. That's funny. Yep. Yep, and little dog syndrome. Absolutely. Okay, guys. It has been my pleasure to share with you again this evening. I look forward to next Monday, and we'll see how the community continues to grow. Just again, a million thank yous for gifting those memberships. And I will find out how to get the folks who have been having trouble joining into the membership community as well. I love you guys so much. Have a beautiful week. And until next week, may animals light your way. Take care, everybody.